Context: my ex-fiancée, female 27, and I, male 28, were together for 3 years. We initially had a good relationship until she changed, becoming addicted to cosmetic surgery, luxury, and social media. I won't go into the full context of the problems between us, but these contributed to daily arguments. While engaged, I met another girl, female 24, I was insanely attracted to, not just for her looks, but for all her wonderful qualities. We became close, and though I tried to suppress the feelings, we eventually admitted we were head over heels for each other. Note: some perceive this to be cheating, some don't. At the time, I was lost and asked my sister for advice. 2 of them, social media influencers, took personal offense, and all 4 of them threw a collective fit, advising me to proceed with the wedding, saying that it was too late to leave, things will get better. They want her to be their sister-in-law, etc. It was messy, but I left my ex anyways, and have now officially been with my girlfriend for 9 months. My sisters were pissed about this, but recently expressed they were sorry and wanted to meet her. So I told them I would bring her to our Nana's birthday celebration. When we arrived, my ex was there, invited by my sisters. It immediately started a fight with a lot of insults towards my girlfriend, so of course we left. I apologized to my Nana for my siblings and I making a scene, but seriously don't know how to deal with the girls. I love them despite our differences, but what they've said and done has me livid. Any advice on what to do, how to confront them effectively would be appreciated. As soon as they told you it was too late to leave, that should have been a wake-up call, bro. What kind of nonsense is that? Would they say that to an unhappy wife with kids? It's too late to leave is really dismissive and telling of how they value your feelings. Is everyone just going to gloss over the fact that OP cheated, emotionally at best, on his fiancée? And that might be the reason his sisters are upset rather than them just wanting her to be their sister-in-law? It sounds like you're using some of your ex's negative qualities, addiction to social media, plastic surgeries, and luxury, as justification for cheating on her, rather than as deal breakers you can point to as a reason for leaving her. If they were truly deal breakers, you would have left her before getting into a relationship with another woman. That said, I'm not saying what the sisters did, inviting the ex-fiancé and ambushing his current girlfriend, is in any way justifiable. Unless, of course, the new girlfriend knew he was engaged and decided to proceed with the relationship anyway. Update: as I said, I met with my sisters. Only the youngest was willing to have a real conversation, where she explained her side, and I told her how I felt. She also apologized to everyone, which I was appreciative of. The other 3 made an embarrassing scene once again and refused to talk or listen. Consequently, and as many people suggested, I let them know that I would be cutting off contact with them until they are ready for a discussion. They started texting me later that night, telling me that I still have to help them with their finances and other nonsense. I did pity them, but this time decided I won't oblige. I'm now going through something more serious with my ex and the 3 girls, which resulted in me having to file a complaint to the police. Hopefully, this can all be resolved soon, but in the meantime, I'm grateful for my sister, who has also now met my girlfriend properly, and of course, Nana got her second party. My brother's fiancé, to say the least, is not a very nice person. They've been together for 2 years, recently got engaged, and seem to be set to get married. He loves her very much. I don't know why he's enamored with her, but she has a really cruel and narcissistic streak. I don't know why, but she seems to direct a lot of vitriol towards our sister, putting her down, saying mean things. She always accuses her of being a liar, being dishonest and superficial, and trying to paint her as a bad person. My sister is very sweet and kind, and the loveliest person I've ever met. I don't like the way brother's fiancé tries to cast her as a liar and a bad person. Our brother has done zilch in trying to stand up for our sister. He normally just either brushes it aside or takes his fiancé's side. Naturally, this really upsets my sister, and in turn, upsets me. There are a number of issues and mean things in particular his fiancé has said about our sister. I'll list a few of the main ones that really get to her here. Brother's fiancé always seems to have this opinion that our sister is a S, and she sleeps around a lot, and tries to hide it. Our family is Catholic, though my brother and his fiancée are not particularly religious at all. On the other hand, my sister and I are quite religious. My sister says she believes in waiting till marriage before S and claims to be a virgin. I believe in the same sentiment. And since that's what she says she is, I believe her. I have no reason to doubt her or think she's lying. Brother's fiancé seems to never believe this and seems insistent on the fact that our sister is a liar, is lying about being a virgin, and says things like, "No way a girl at the age of 23 is a virgin, and she went to college. No way she didn't sleep with a few guys." I know my sister is very religious and devout, so I have no reason to believe she would lie about it or stray, and I hate the insinuation that she's a liar. It really upsets my sister because this is the main thing brother's fiancé is really adamant that she's lying about. I don't know why. I think maybe because of her own insecurity or something. It's made my sister cry more than a few times, and she sometimes insinuates she's a liar to her face. She also says things about our sister like the way she dresses definitely makes her look like an S, and always says that her clothes are too S-y and revealing, i.e., if they always show too much skin or too much midriff or cleavage or whatever. I think it's absurd because a person's clothing is no reflection at all on their romantic history. Maybe she just likes to wear that because she finds it comfortable, or maybe, who knows? I think it's ridiculous to say that just because she judges her clothing as revealing, that she slept with guys. Other times, she says things like, nobody with boobs that big could be a virgin, i.e., implying that just because she has large breasts, she must have slept around a lot, or she must have gotten a lot of attention from guys at college, which made her sleep around. I don't even follow the logic. Once, she even accused her of having fake boobs and having had implants, which is ducking ridiculous. She says things like, if you want to wait till marriage, then why are you always wearing clothes that put your breasts on display? She always gives her crap for that and attacks her for her views and makes her feel extremely self-conscious. So, yeah, I think brother's fiancé is a horrible person. Every time I bring up her behavior with her, she'll either be like, I have no idea what you're talking about. I wasn't trying to offend her. Or, at best, she'll give a half-hearted apology and do the exact same crap later. My sister has had enough of it. She's cried more than a few times as a result. And if there's one thing I can't stand to see, it's my sister crying or upset. What's worst of all is that our big brother, who's supposed to defend us and look after us, never bothers to stick up for his own sister or rebuke his fiancée for what she does. He gets angry if we say anything negative about her. Frankly, my sister and I are really tired of her and our brother's defense of her. We've already basically made our best effort to avoid spending any time with her, but we're also really offended by the way our brother has acted towards the whole situation. I really don't want to be in any situation where I seem accepting of the verbal and emotional A my sister has received. Are we justified in basically cutting him out of our lives and not going to the wedding? Or is that too extreme, and is there a better solution? Update. Okay, we've reached a decision. We're gonna go to the wedding, but from then on, we're gonna basically disassociate our lives from them, especially our future darling sister-in-law. So I've been talking about it with my sister. Apparently, this is an issue she's really felt sensitive about for a long time. As I mentioned, she's really religious and modest, so she hates the idea that she must be an S because she has big breasts. I tried to reassure her. I told her most of the girls that say that are really just jealous. It seemed it was deeper than that. She told me that even when she was in college, she knew she would get a lot of unwanted attention, and before that in school. Because she developed early, she got a lot of hate from other girls. Basically, she said our future sister-in-law reminded her exactly of those girls who used to tease her for them at school and make her hate her own body. I told her she has nothing to hate from her own body. She has a body that many women would kill for. It's the body God gave her. She's beautiful and amazing, and she should never be ashamed of who she is. All this time, I thought it was just sister-in-law who's the problem. But it seems the problem lies a lot with my sister's perception of herself, and it's been long-standing. The issues with our brother and what his fiancée has been saying are just bringing all that up to the surface. I told her if her problem isn't really with the fiancé, then there's no reason she can't go to the wedding. She responded that she simply doesn't understand the fiancé's obsession with belittling her, accusing her of being an S, basically shaming her for her breasts and body. I had no idea how to respond. I hypothesized that maybe fiancé wasn't breastfed as a baby, and this was her way of taking out her anger. My sister told me that that comment was weird and really came out of nowhere, so okay. She was still pondering on whether to go to the wedding or not. I suggested maybe she could wear something really revealing that accentuated her figure, just to mess with the fiancé and duck with everyone. She was like, nah, that would be petty, and she didn't want to do anything vindictive to duck up sister-in-law's special day. Plus, that was a really unsettling comment coming from her little brother, asking her to wear something revealing. Whatever, I guess. It was a joke, but whatevs. Anyway, I told my sister we still had plenty of time to decide. Even if we didn't go, we could just send in our gifts for the wedding. But we'd have to explain to our parents our reasoning, and I figured we should be upfront about that. I told my sister it was her choice, and whatever her choice was, I'll be backing her up in it. At that point, I think she was leaning towards going. But then there was another pretty bad incident with brother's fiancé. I spoke to my brother, and I tried to have a heart-to-heart chat with him. I told him he probably wasn't aware as he should be, but some of the stuff his fiancé has said to our sister has been really bad and hurtful, including some of the insinuations. I said, however, it wasn't too late to make amends. A fresh start could still be in the works. He said he understood, and he'll have a word with her, and try to talk her into being nicer to our sister from now on, and maybe even an apology. It was really weird after that. His fiancé came and showed up at our house one day, when it was just me, my sister, and our mother around. She didn't even have a reason. She just seemed to be dropping by for the purpose of showing up, and was trying to be nice to everyone. She was being especially forced nice to my sister. She was like, "You know, I probably haven't said this, but I know you've been a great help to all of us in setting everything up. I know you'll absolutely look stunning when you come to our wedding, and I can't wait to go to yours as well." It was a really nice and sweet thing of her to say, and my sister really appreciated it. And they started talking and chatting about other things, and seemed to be really getting along. Our brother then got home and joined in the mix. He was like, "Glad to see you all getting along." After our brother walked away, his fiancée again stirred up trouble. She told my sister that some of the things she had said to her had been taken the wrong way. My sister was very humble about it, and was all like, "No, not at all. You know me. Always getting worked up and overreacting to things. It's not your fault." Fiancé was then like, "Good," and asked her to not wear anything revealing to the wedding. My sister said, "What do you mean?" She said she knows she normally likes to wear revealing clothes, and she doesn't judge her, but it's not appropriate for the wedding. My sister said sorry and okay, but then she snapped back and insisted she never does wear revealing clothes. Fiancé was like, "Ugh, not this again," and then went again into complaining about what she wears and implying she slept with a lot of guys. She was like, "Yeah, okay, I believe you," in a sarcastic way. My sister got really angry and flustered, and said to her, "I've literally never had S with anyone." The fiancé just said flat out, and in a really rude tone, "I don't believe you." I told her what the duck was her problem. I said to her face that she's a terrible person, and she's just coming into our house and accusing my sister of being a liar and an S, and she should get the duck out. She's not welcome here anymore. My sister tried to get me to back down, but I was pretty angry at that point. My brother came back at the opportune moment to try to calm everyone down. His fiancé then turned to him and said, "Don't you think what she's wearing now is a little inappropriate?" He just said, "Don't get me involved in this." I told him he should be ashamed, not sticking up for his sister and letting her get insulted like this. Then his fiancé was like to me, "Oh, I bet you like the way she dresses. I've seen you look at her and how you're always trying to hug her from the front at every opportunity. You're gross. No wonder you're defending her." I told her she was being obscene and disgusting, and my brother was just like, "Okay, we're leaving." And he turned to me and said, "I'm very disappointed in you. I thought you were more mature than this." My sister was pretty shocked by the whole encounter and how quickly it escalated. It was pretty obvious now, if it wasn't before, that her brother's fiancé hated her for God knows what reason and would never relent. We both agreed that was it. No communications with her, no attendance at the wedding. If needed, we'll maintain relations with our brother in the future, but only if his wife isn't there. Our mother, who had overheard most of what happened, didn't express much, but she kind of acknowledged her disdain towards our brother's fiancé. When our dad got back, she explained to him what happened. They both said we have every right to hate her, but they would still prefer if we went along to the wedding, as a final gesture, just for formality's sake in front of the extended family. I told them I'd do whatever my sister did, and she still hadn't decided. I talked it out with my sister. She was airing out all of her frustrations and hatred towards our future sister-in-law. She's much more fierce in private than in front of other people, when she's more modest. She told me how much she hated that exact type of person who had body-shamed her for having large breasts her entire life. No matter what she wears, if it's a sweater, a dress, or whatever, she's always the girl with big boobs, the S. She actually started crying a bit and was like, "Sometimes I wish I could just cut these things off." I told her not to do that. Not everyone will hate her for them or treat her negatively for them. I told her some guys might even like her more because of them, and they might make her future husband very happy. The only worry was that they'll get more attention than her. She was like, "Again, that's weird and slightly disturbing coming from you." But we just laughed about it. She told me how she was utterly disappointed with how our brother had acted. She told me that I was her favorite brother, by far, and I'd always been her favorite. I can't actually express in words how good that felt to hear. It's not like I can tell my parents that, but I can tell you guys. It felt absolutely ducking awesome to hear her say that I'm number one to her. But anyway, moving on. About the wedding. She still hadn't decided if she'll go or not. She was contemplating going just as a formality, but she thought her presence there will be a victory for our brother's fiancé, and she might even use the opportunity to humiliate her or berate her in one of her cruel ways. I told her maybe if I could get a promise out of her that she wouldn't, or an apology, would she then come? She said yes, so I said I'll talk to our brother about it one last time. I told him again our sister's feelings were really badly hurt, and a genuine apology from his fiancé for everything would go a long way in mending our sister's hurt feelings. He said he'd see what he could do, but next I spoke to him. He said it's not happening. However, again we spoke to our parents, and they again said they would really appreciate if we would go, and we wouldn't have to speak to the bride and groom at all. We can just stay seated at our table for most of the night if we want to. My sister agreed to that. So we made the decision that we would go, but we would avoid the bride and groom the entire night, and after that, probably try to see as little of them as possible. Stop trying to get your sister to go to the wedding for duck's sake. I'm so annoyed by both your parents and you for constantly needling her into going, and for what? Keeping up appearances? The fact that your sister already had self-esteem issues doesn't mean that since sister-in-law isn't the root of the problem, then she should go anyways. As you implied, your sister's self-esteem and emotional well-being is much more important than presenting a facade of family unity to wedding guests. Does your sister in any way benefit from attending the wedding of someone who constantly berates her and makes her feel like crap? No. And how are you even considering attending the wedding of someone who openly accused you of an inappropriate relationship with your sister? She doesn't only think your sister is disgusting, she also thinks you are a perv. Do you and your sister a favor and don't put yourself through going to the wedding. Attending a wedding means you are showing support for the union. Do you support your brother being married to such a disgusting woman? And do you support his lack of a spine when it comes to defending his own family? Since they are getting married, this is only the beginning of a lifetime of emotional A from your new sister-in-law, unless you start enforcing boundaries.